Yeah, saying yes to it, being shared with YouTube. We're going to be live soon. Yeah, we're on live. Well, welcome. Just welcome everybody. Yeah. Yeah. So I've got it double. I've just got to silence that so we don't have double because it's slightly behind on YouTube. So here we go. So now I am so delighted to welcome Made Tech to talk about running a Blackathon, and I'm going to hand over to Flo.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to our, it's not a TED Talk, but Coding Black Females Talk. We're going to talk about running Maytech's first ever Blackathon. So I'm just going to quickly go through the agenda. So I'll introduce my team, my lovely Maytech team that are on the call with me today. We'll talk about the first Blackathon, the projects that we did, and what we learned from it. We'll also be touching on Blackathon 2024, which we hope you'll all be involved in. And yeah, we'll have questions and answers in the chat later on. Right, so let me go forward and introduce my lovely team. So there's me, I'm Flora. I'm a software engineer. Then we have Derek, who's also a software engineer. And then we have Seneca on the call as well, also a software engineer. And then we have our engineering coach, Dom, who's also on the call, and Anna from our wonderful marketing and events team. So yeah, my journey is I actually came into MadeTech in 2022. I came in through the academy, and funny enough, also Seneca and Derek came in through the academy. They'll talk about that in their section. So who is MadeTech? You might be thinking, like, what do we do? So we're actually a tech consultancy, and we work with the public sector, so like government departments, local government, the fire brigade, the police, you name it, to just make technology that improves society and make things better for you in the world as such. As I was putting together the slides, I found a very, very beautiful picture. So, funny story. In 2019, I actually came to Maytech's office. Code and Black Females was doing an event here. I think it was like Code and Chill. In 2019, I did not know anything about coding. I actually came to have a good time. I came for food, I came for drinks, I came for enjoyment, right? If you had, listen, Python, to me, that's a snake. Ruby, that is a gem. Elixir, I'm like, is that a type of cocktail? Is that a Hennessy drink? I don't know. So it was really funny to me in the fact that I'm actually here on this side as a Made Techer when I was there in 2019. Brilliant event, brilliant event. So yeah, our Blackathon. I think this is where I will when I hand it over to Dom. But we did this. It was a 2-day event in October last year, and it was about celebrating Black progress in the UK. I want to show you the wonderful team that made this happen. So we have Dom, who's part of our committee. He's the engineering coach. We've got Kaylee. There's Renee, who's a software engineer. Derek, Miles, our designer. So all the posters and I think what are these things called? Stickers. Miles designed that. Seneca and me. And I will hand over to Dom because he essentially put out the call to the organization, and all the Black people came together to make it happen. So over to you, Dom.
Cool. Thank you very much, Flo. My name is Dom. He, him are my pronouns. I've been at Maytech coming up to 2 years now. Before that, I've been teaching in the educational space for a long time. And, Black History Month comes around, and there's always sort of, especially over the last couple of years, there's been this thing about like, how do we celebrate it? What can we do? And that's good. But on the flip side, like two things are important. Like one, if we're not careful, Black History Month can always be a source of revisiting trauma of like, what are the things that are not working? What are the things that are still difficult for us? And that's not fun. I don't want to do that. But also like being in a tech company, like I'm very conscious and I've been in tech for a long time. I've been conscious like we don't see a lot of ourselves in those spaces. If we go to a hackathon, like there's not a lot of people who look like us, who are maybe covering our experiences with us and building that into tech. And I was like, what would it be like to have a hackathon for Black people? Like what would it be like if you had a hackathon in Wakanda kind of thing? And so this idea about Blackathon was coming around, and I was like, could we use tech to do something positive? Could we do something with tech to like celebrate Black progress? And that was sort of the idea. And it was an idea that I had like when I started at Maytech. And I was like, I feel like this year I want to see what happens. So, like I said, as Flo said, I kind of put out the call, put out the Avengers Assemble, and we kind of started talking from there. And we went from like, here's what we'd like to do to here's what we could do to make it seem like, to make it real. So.
My apologies, guys. I was actually supposed to introduce my colleagues, Seneca and Derek, which I'll give them the floor. So please, guys, I didn't do you guys justice. Please introduce yourselves to everyone.
I'll go first. My name is Seneca. My pronouns are he, him. I am a software engineer with Maytech. I started in the academy, the cohort of October 2022. And previously, I worked a lot in engineering projects on project controls. I didn't have very much, um, you know, of a basis in computer engineering or anything like that, but I always was curious, and Maytech gave me that chance. And so being part of this Blackathon, I thought let me start showing those muscles I've grown with tech over this period. And funny enough, Dom was my coach. So I had to show him do him proud and show him I can do something. And so yeah, getting to build out a project on the Blackathon was my way of doing that. Over to you, Derek.
Hey, I'm Derek. Pronouns he, him as well. Yeah, I like Flo said earlier, I joined through the academy back in 2020. Yeah, 2020. I was in the cohort for 2020, and yeah, and my previous history was all just facilities and office management. So I was a geeky guy, but I wasn't doing anything with code before until I joined the academy. And yeah, and the Blackathon was a great experience, and I'll go into more detail when it's my section as well.
Okay, so this was our team. This was our project, sorry. My team was Asha, who's not on the call, or maybe she's on the call. Myself, Flo, who is an engineer, Miles, one of our designers at Maytech, and Adil, he was a guest who joined us on the second day, and he contributed very well to the project. Hats off to him. So basically, to talk about the project really quickly, as Dom stated, you go into spaces in tech and you don't see many faces like ours, right? And I wholeheartedly believe representation matters. And so we thought of like, well, what it would be like if you could make an app based on your dreams. What it'd be like to imagine to get your dream, to achieve your dream, and an app that helps you do that. So we thought, okay, you could say, okay, I would like to be, for example, not being anything crazy, but like a teacher, or let's start off being a baseball player or something. What would that trajectory be? What would that look like? Where are the resources that you could go and tap into to start that journey? And so a lot of people in the community, Black and Brown community, don't really know where to do that. But if our app could point them in that direction and we could give them that guidance, it'd be great. And not only that, if we could give them like because it is happening nowadays. History is being rewritten all kinds of ways. If we could give them the basic history of people who have done that before they have, for example, as I said, a baseball player, we can have a list of baseball players that were black and brown before they tried to get into that career as well, and let them know the way those people had to get into the careers. It would be helpful. Not only would they learn about those people, but they learn about themselves as well, right? And then maybe we could also build a feature where it gives them like a suggested timeline. You could say if you're doing this by, within a month or two or whatever, you would have reached that you be that much closer to your goal. So yeah, that was kind of the idea that we were going behind it. And I must say that as you can see in the photo there, that's like the preview of what it looked like. But I mean, the team that we had such a great time for those 2 days of building it, and I would have wished we could have built it out more. Unfortunately, we did not win, but I'm sure if we had more time, we would have beat the competition. The next slide, please. Yeah, that I think this is just a photo of Asha, who's on my left, and that's Flo on my right. Next slide, please. And yeah, that's us in the war room trying to basically come up with ideas. We had a lot of ideas. Flo is very creative, as you can tell. And we just had to battle all of those ideas to come up with a solution. But the idea, we all had the same kind of spirit going forward, is that we really did want to make something that was impactful for our audience and impactful for our users. And I think we would have achieved that if we had more time. But either way, there is still this year, right? We can do better this year. Next slide, please. Oh, so yeah, and this is when they were going to present for the at the end. I wasn't present for that, but I heard they did a really good job in presenting our case. It's a shame we got that trophy stolen from us. I'm not saying anything from here. I should pass off to Derek.
Hi. So we were the second team. We went in wanting to create something that was collaborative. So we decided to build a game similar to Guess Who. We called it Who Done It. There were some other names that were thrown around, but I won't share those names here. But yeah, basically, we wanted to create a game where instead of, like Dom said earlier, looking at trauma and all those negative stuff, we're trying to celebrate and look at those who've created things that you never really thought was created by Black people and highlight those and bring those to the top and to the forefront. So it was a two-player game. We had a host. So it was a multiplayer game. We had a host who would be directing all the questions, and then we had players who would be answering questions, trying to guess who invented so-and-so. So one of those was like who invented CCTV, and so on and so forth. The experience was, you can start flicking through the other slides now. The experience was fantastic. We had a great team. Renee and Kaylee are there. Renee, who is a software engineer, and Kaylee, who's a delivery manager. She definitely organized us and made sure we were able to get the ideas from our heads onto a piece of paper and then onto code. And we also had Ben there as well to guide us as a principal technologist, to make sure we were not trying to stray too far ahead or too far away from our central goal. This was my first ever hackathon, let alone a Blackathon. So I went in only to take pictures. I thought I was just going to take pictures because I was that nervous to be part of the hackathon. And then somehow I'm sitting at a desk and I'm writing code. I don't know how that happened. I blame Dom to this day, but somehow I ended up writing code. But yeah, so yeah, great team, great experience. And like Seneca said, we kind of saw a little bit big time one. So I'm really proud of that. But yeah, that's it from me. Oh, this is the game being presented. But yeah, just there. Yeah. So one side, so we didn't have it fully working, so we had to figure out like a little hacky way for it to be presented. So we ran up two instances of the same game and pretended one was the host and pretended the other one was the player and manually clicked through. So it wasn't all connected. It wasn't fully working, but we managed to demo how we wanted it to work. But yeah, that's it. Thank you. That was my TED talk.
Is this the part where I come and talk about how I chose the winner?
Yeah, you need to explain yourself, though, man.
Okay, fair enough. So like I said, the whole purpose of the Blackathon was to celebrate Black progress, and especially 2023 was a really significant year because it was 50 years since hip hop, 70 years since the Generation Windrush, and 70 years 75 years of the NHS. And these are all spaces where Black and brown people have contributed, heavily into it. So it was like thinking about how we could celebrate that. So the criteria was like, how much does this app celebrate Black progress? How accessible is this app? Like, it's no good if people can't use it. What's the impact? Like, what is the general impact? And then like points for creativity. I'll tell you why you were robbed if you want to know, but it was really, really close. And I really, really enjoyed both ideas. The reason why Guess Who's Black won is because their bit worked. That was it. But that was really, it just came down to like which one is like closer in the fact of like you can actually use it. And so that was good. But like both were great. I love the idea about giving Dreaming While Black to schools where people can see themselves as mathematicians, see, as doctors, as medical professionals, and see like other people who've done it before, know that they're not alone, and find out the ways that they can move forward. So yeah, both are great. I'm still looking forward to seeing how like how we can make those real. But yeah, that was the criteria that we were looking for. We were looking for celebration, impact, accessibility, and creativity. So
I still feel some shade in what you just said, but I accept it.
I said what I said. I stand by what I said.
No, but respectfully, shots fired on the call. I thought we were like, but like respectfully, like I did have to say that Derek's team, like worthy winners. It was a fantastic like product. And I also wanted to mention as well on the day, because we didn't have a tech stack. So we chose, I think we went with React. So I was not really very familiar with React. And even though it was very competitive, do you know what? Yeah, Kaylee was talking some crud on that day, Like I was like, what? Her team won, so glory to her. But it was even the fact that like Derek and Renee, they're a bit more senior than me and Seneca, so we were able to actually go to them for help, because there's times Seneca, remember our code broke. Like, that the pictures in the war room, that was when it broke. We were like, what the hell are we gonna do? Like, we can't show like a broken product kind of thing. The two Bens were there who are principal engineers, and they were really good. They helped us shape our idea. They kind of helped us like with how the code should go and explained use effects and stuff in React, which is, so overall good day.
Well, can I just say something? Can I just say, like, you may not have one, but did we not all win for like generating something beautiful like this? Just gonna say it.
Yeah, and the friends we made along the way.
Yeah, I didn't say that.
Power friendship. That's you, Dom.
Oh, it's me. Okay, cool. So yeah, so I think one of the challenges we had is like, we wanted initially to think about, so actually one of the things that we wanted to do was how could we use the Blackathon to like include local Black businesses, how to include like Black students and things like that, and realized there were like some logistics in that. But we were able to like include like a few local Black businesses. So like shout out to Earth and Roots and Whisk and Things for like providing both like snacks and also like some of the rewards. I think the next iteration is going to be like, how do we have a bigger impact sort of on a wider thing? Like, how can we use this, and can we reach out to schools with it? Can we include other people, along, and like, what does that space look like? So I think definitely more, And like, how do we stretch out that wider reach? Like, how do we continue celebrating? How do we continue challenge? How do we let other people who look like us know that like tech is a viable career, that they can see themselves, and we need their voices in this space?
Oh, so fantastic. And yeah, while we don't have questions in the chat, I wanted to feed back that, uh, Marley is saying that she feels like she's catching the tea, and and she's on a whole different continent, as she told us she's in Argentina. And Goo and Owen, I don't know whether you want to kind of make your point as well. You can come up, step on and do that. And of course, questions.
I was just saying that they were saying like, oh, we didn't want to release a broken product. It's like software houses release broken products all the time. Like that's imposter syndrome stuff. Don't worry about it. We're all fine.
Yeah.
And you know what? On that note, like Owen, love him. He's from our workplace. Yeah. We also had to let people know about, the volunteers. You see, the allies were allying in our company. When I tell you, like the crew got together, like helping with volunteering, setting up on Friday. I wasn't there, but I heard it was a lot. Like getting the space ready. We had a fire marshal. Like it was so amazing. Like the Blackathon, like the whole kind of like organization came together. I'd say for like Blackathon 2024, like Rory, our CEO, and Chris, open up the purse, man, open up the wallet, drop some change so we can make it bigger and better. Yeah, and I'm saying this to the whole world. So we have a company update next week. I'd love to know what budget you're putting aside.
Lots of thank yous first. That's great. Seneca.
Yeah, just to follow up from what Flo said, it was great to have this event, not only for us by us, but also to know that in Maytech, it's not performative. The actual allyship is real. I mean, like as she said, people stepped up and they were there, and there wasn't this feel of it was just to score points for DEI. It felt like folks really care, and they want our they're working towards our winning in this space as well. And I don't know if this is across the tech industry, but this is my first gig, so this is a really good start if this is it. You know what I mean? I'm really proud of those who stepped up to help us out. But the way we walked away from that event, I don't know about anybody else. I was buzzing. I mean, I couldn't wait to do more and to be out there more for to bring along the youngins, what like we say back at South, to get other folks to come in. And I really enjoyed that day. It's just, it can't be said any more than that, But any questions, anybody else?
What I really like about your format as well is even the way you're approaching that this presentation is you're already just kind of opening it out to think about the planning for the next one, think about who you're talking to. Actually, Amalia was asking for a bit more explanation about Made Tech Academy, what it is and what they do.
I'll jump in and answer that, because it's interesting. This is the first week, like the academy itself has morphed into what we now have as apprenticeships. So initially the academy was a 12-week boot camp to get people really focusing on people who are either looking at changing careers, might be coming from a secondary career, who are interested in looking at tech, who normally wouldn't get a chance anywhere else, and get an opportunity to practice. And so they would spend initially 12 weeks with us to learn not just about technical things, but consultancy skills, because Maytech is a consultancy. So things like psychological safety and well-being, what is power, privilege, and responsibility, how to advocacy, working with others. So those are the things that we would look at, and then it would be from there we would place them on deliveries or projects that Maytech would actually work. It's actually funny because I'm actually sitting here with the current cohort of apprenticeships listening, and they're hearing me talk about this and they're watching this, which is super awesome. So it's almost like it's come full circle. But we've moved into apprenticeships, and apprenticeships, the format is a bit same. Instead of it being 12 weeks though, it is now 18 months, an 18-month process with a qualification at the end, recognized qualification at the end. So it's going to be more of the same, just with more structured learning involved. We close applications. We don't know when we're going to open up applications yet, but please check on our website to find out when those are uploaded. You do have to be in the UK to be part of that for now. But yeah, if you're interested, do keep a lookout for that. Yes.
We should do a session on that, maybe, and talk a bit more about that, and your deadlines, because I'm sure there'll be people in our community that are really keen to know more. So that sounds great. And there's a really good question that you're probably kind of wanting to think through, is what would you improve on the next Blackathon?
Ooh. I think one of the challenges is like how could we include more people? I think that's more like how could we welcome more people? I think one of the challenge like I think it was great. We had a great start, but I think that is definitely something more of like we had a really great experience amongst ourselves, and that was super awesome. How can we get more? I think it's like how do we get more? I think part of that is logistics, part of that is budget, but like, yeah, how do we build this out more? And I think also like how do we make this regular? Like it's great having it for Black History Month, but like I'm Black all year. So like how do I make that happen?
I would like to I think what I would say as well is like I would like to see more, because like our committee is very engineer heavy. So I'd like to see like more of people of color across our organization getting involved, because you know what, yeah, having Derek's team had Kaylee, she was a real asset. She was a real asset because she's comes from like is it delivery principal background. So she knew how to manage. She managed her crew like a tight ship. Like so there was value in her having been there. Miles was a value to us. He was a designer. There was points he was designing a website because we had the Spotify playlist. Remember? So the music was flowing. We had like the drinks. We had the food. Miles was just going crazy. You have to say, Miles, calm down. Do you know we're like junior engineers? What you're building, like, you know what I'm saying? We're not principles yet, do you get me? But it was just nice to see, because I never knew Figma before, so just even seeing how he put the website design we did not do it justice, did we, Seneca? Like we didn't do Miles justice, did we?
But we try.
Yeah, so definitely for me, more like internal people stepping up, and I think I'll change. I'm definitely a neutral judge.
I know without biases, but we're not shouting at anyone right here. To follow on from Flo, I think what she's adding is that diversity in the group helped a lot. Having those diverse experiences would have, I can think, propelled the project a lot more further. But yeah, it'd be great if we had people who were planning the event coming from the other departments in the business, and if they're there, and maybe help us come up with better ideas. So going back to what Owen had asked, if there was anything that didn't go smoothly in the setting up of or organizing. I can't remember if anything didn't go smoothly. I think Dom may be able to speak on that, but it felt like we were lucky. It all just happened the way we wanted it to happen. But maybe Dom could probably talk more on that.
I would say really helping like really narrow down our expectations, because like I said, if you look at a Trello board, we had a whole bunch of ideas and it was like we can't do this. But I think making it really small, and I think it was really like, can we make this successful as it can? But I actually want to shout back to the rest of the planning group, because we met regularly. You were really helpful in highlighting any blind spots or potential things that we're missing. So that really, really helps. I appreciate you folk for like being part of there, helping me go like, oh yeah, I really didn't think about that. There was a lot of planning behind the scenes to like make that successful. So I appreciate you.
We love you too, Dom.
Okay, thank you.
Even though you crochet.
Yeah, actually, I would love to have like someone from like Coding Black Themas or someone else be a guest judge next year. I was kind of
Yeah,
one of
you
my,
could set that up, I'm
yeah,
sure.
yeah. I was hoping I'd love that because then someone else can get yelled at.
They get all the flack.
Yeah,
I thought it was quite funny that you were going, how did you judge? And it's like, how long ago was it? Now you found out.
October still burns me. I'm like, yo. And also we
Oh,
could get Code and Black female members involved, like come, because you know what, going to, we call it a blackathon, but it's a hackathon, is a really, really, really good way to hone your skills, you know, because being amongst other engineers, like seeing what Renee coded, what Derek coded, watching Asha code, like Ben, like principal, like technology people, it was so cool because it like sharpens your skills. Like, oh, okay, I would not have maybe wrote it that way, but this is actually a more efficient way to build it. So it really helps with your skills and presentation as well, because you have to present at the end, regardless if your app is broken or not. You still have to go up to the front, talk about your idea, you know. So yeah.
do you want to talk a bit more about the actual tools you use? Because you've mentioned Figma, you've mentioned React a bit. Do you want to talk a little bit about what was used over the time?
Do you know what? I want to hand it over to Derek because I feel like his team was more proficient with React.
I feel like my judgment was sound. I'm just gonna say that.
No, ours was a really simple stack. It was all React. So we kicked it off with React. We planned it all on Trello. So we had tickets on Trello that we were managing, but everything was done on React. I fired it up this morning in preparation for this talk, and the amount of errors that are in the terminal when I kick it off is ridiculous. But yeah, it's a very, very simple stack.
Oh, fantastic. So, but did you do any kind of UI or UX stuff before you using React, or did you just dive right in there?
Because we didn't have the pleasure of having a designer, we dove straight into the code, and we thought about that. All that stuff was an afterthought. We're like, oh, actually, we have to make this look nice as well. So then we started throwing pictures from Google Images on there. But yeah, we didn't have a designer, but yeah, we tried.
Yeah.
You even did user testing, didn't you? Because I remember I saw you in the morning.
Yeah, I forgot about so we printed out. So when we were coming up with the idea of the game, we printed out hard copies of the game basically, and tried to play it out with people who were in the building at the time and see what they thought about the mechanics of the game, to try to figure out the mechanics of the game, and that then informed our decision making when it went into going into code. So yeah, we did do some user research. Again, that's thanks to Kaylee who isn't here, but yeah, she ran a tight ship and she made sure we're doing agile principles.
Yeah, so you're doing agile with paper, like
we're doing agile with paper. Every day agile.
No, like Seneca ran a tight ship with us, you know, like he kept us on job. And you know what? Yeah, there's a moment as well that I remember where it just wasn't working, and my guy was dedicated to fixing this leak. I think something in the code. Remember the timeline wasn't working, Seneca. And then he, by brute force, he just fixed it. And I really was like, wow. Because I was ready to give up. I was like, do you know what? It is what it is, man. People can use their imagination, and we'll talk talk through it. So yeah, that was really good. Even like seeing how, like, Seneca, you know how you were able to debug the code as well, was really good. So yeah.
Yeah, I think what you meant to say is determination, and Google is always our friend as engineers. I learned that on projects, that look, you don't go in there knowing anything. You go in there asking a lot of questions, and everybody pointing you towards Google to get those answers a lot of times. So yeah, it was me being determined, but also I think it must be said we had a good vibe with our team. So everyone was determined to get things fixed and done. And also we didn't want to look a fool when it came to presenting, because I wasn't going to be around and I wanted to make sure we did have something to present. So it was all really good. Good vibes, determination, and Google.
There you go. Lots of search. Search and find. So so what you're saying is the importance of having a good project manager on your teams when you're having to go for these, when you're kind of like in competition, keeping everybody on track.
Yeah, product managers and delivery managers, I think we must say they are worth their weight in gold because I mean if you don't see the direction, you'd be going everywhere. Everyone would be lost, basically. But I guess with my background in project controls, like that was helpful, you know. But again, I say my team was we were dedicated to each other. We wanted to
Yeah,
win, you know.
yeah.
We feel like we got, you know, bamboozled, but we want, you know,
Not
we
bamboozled.
went for it.
Yeah,
I'm
fantastic.
not hurt about it, just so you know. It's just I
Yeah.
need to put that out there.
There was a lot of banter on the day, you know. Listen, I'm like I said, like Kaylee was chatting like that. And I think it doesn't help that how our offices are is glass, so you can see in and stuff. Yeah, so like
He's alluding to them spying, but
it was like friendly competition. It was very nice. And also as well, like there was even a point where Dom was sitting turned into like a counseling office where we're just coming to talk about, because that was another thing I enjoyed actually on the day, was like we're able to like spill the tea on our careers and get career advice. And because I was on a project that wasn't, you know, but then I was able to talk to my colleagues about it and get some tips and some advice, even like speaking to the two Bens about like what is the trajectory for like a software engineer in our company and stuff, like the different levels, what's the difference between an associate, a mid, a senior, lead, so on and so forth. So it's also like, go to hackathons to get the tea, man. There's things I can't say because, you know, what happened at the Blackathon stage at the
So is there more you could tell us about this squatting bugs? Because there's a kind of quite a few comments on there. So Amelia, as a new coder, the knowledge that swatting and Stack Overflow is heavily used even by experts is so encouraging. And hashtag squatting bugs forever. Any more about squatting bugs?
No, I
How
just
do you
think
approach it?
I mean, I think the thing is it can be very easy, especially if you're used to looking at like YouTube videos, you know, these people who are like, I'm going to teach you JavaScript, and I'm going to teach you Python, and people are just like, you know, they're moving from one thing to the other, and it's like they never have to ask, they never have to pause. It can make you feel like if I have to ask questions, I'm not good enough. But the reality is like there is so much information. It is really hard to keep that in your head. And chances are those people have been practicing for a while. So that's why they don't have to do that. So like give yourself space and grace. Like it's okay not to know. It's okay to go find out something. It's less about having that information right at the tip of your fingers and knowing more about where to look for it. So it's okay to ask questions. You should feel okay to ask questions. Asking for help should always give a positive outcome is one of the things that we've actually started saying in Chalet projects. And like that's important. You should never feel ashamed for like going look up something. I had to do that today because I forgot a command and I was like, we're gonna look it up because I can't remember. It's fine.
Yeah, we can never say that enough. And so glad you said that. You know, it's not about knowing it all. It's knowing about how to operate when you don't know and how to find and search. But I suppose what's different about a Blackathon is that you've got this short time frame and you've got to get it done on time and you've got to get your presentation in. How did you plan time for your presentations?
Let's tell the truth.
There wasn't much planning done for the presentation.
That you know,
I think up until the final minute, we were still trying to put things together, and then we were like, "We need to do a presentation." I don't think, from my team's perspective, yeah, we did not have any time ready for presentation.
And I had to leave early, so I just left my team with the wing and a prayer and a wink. You know, good luck, y'all. And they did a great job.
Yeah, we were freestyling. Like, even I remember, like, you know, Tom came to the front. He's like, computers down, come on, come to the main area. It's time to do your presentation. Even then, we had our computers in our hands, still trying to make changes and stuff. It was like, there was no planning. We just literally vibes, like literally just, and God's grace. Also, so Seneca, I have a question for you. Yeah, why don't you like chocolate cake? Because, right, it was his birthday on the second day of the hackathon, yeah? Me and Dom, we walked 10 minutes to the shop, right? Imagine in central London, walking 10 minutes is like walking from here to Spain, yeah? We got you chocolate cake, yeah? We sang you happy birthday. And what did you say? Oh, I don't like chocolate cake. We're like, so you don't like nice things? Like, you explain yourself.
As our audience now have discovered, we've got great vibes. So I'm just gonna put this out there. If you knew me, you know I don't like chocolate, but it's not about it was a thought that counted, and I appreciated that cake very much. I'm glad that I have the family that I do in Maytag that thinks about me during my birthday. Made sure that I didn't feel far away from my family because I was away from my family that day to celebrate my birthday. But I got a beautiful card and I got a beautiful cake, and I'm so sorry that I had to disrespect y'all by not eating chocolate. But it was really nice, and I appreciate that.
Oh, you even made time for cakes. That's it. In the precious time frame. That's oh, that's so great. And so kind of there's still these two questions. Is there anything else you do differently? And what else? I know you're wanting to get more people in. What's your plans for getting more people in? So what would you do differently? Is there anything else?
Start earlier. That probably would be one. Maybe start earlier, and I feel like it's really generic, but I think I don't know. It's kind of a tough one to answer. I think the other thing that I think that's a weird sentence to start with. So come back to me, because I think is not really as a proper construction of words. I think for me, the hardest part was, will this work? Part of me was I was worried that, we have Black History Month. There's a whole bunch of staple things that people do in Black History Month, and that is fine. But I worried that people having a technical angle of it was something that maybe people may not be interested in. Now that I see that there is appetite and people are, it is inspiring and it's invigorating, I think I'm very interested in, like, how can I keep this momentum continuing? So it's rather like not necessarily how about the next one, but like as I said before, like how do I make sure this happens? Maybe not every day, but more than once a year. That may have answered your question, but
Yeah, no, that's a good answer. You kind of touched on that before, but that's really clear. And then just to kind of finish now so that everybody can then get back after their lunch breaks, to this question of how you're going to let more people know, and how, kind of just tell people where to find it, or how they can get involved, or spread the messages.
Do we have a slide? A get in touch slide. I don't
yeah,
know.
that
There you go.
Allah to the rescue.
Yeah.
What do you think, guys? Like, sorry, what was the question? That's how you know I'm hungry.
Yeah, just kind of how you were saying about wanting to get more numbers, and get more people involved, and I just wanted to make sure
I
people
would
knew
love
how to get in touch.
Yeah, I would love to, like, first, if this is inspiring to you and you want to know more, please email us. That would be super awesome. I think all of us are on LinkedIn, so please reach out to us and be like, hey, we'd like to see more. If you'd like us to be like, if you'd like to see this event in your own workspace, like, please reach out to us. That's one way of doing that. If you're like, have you thought about doing a Black History Month? We're interested in ideas. We're open to collaborations. Yeah, just give us a shout. I think letting us know that you out there find this inspiring, are interested in, like, supporting it, like, helps us make the case that we should do more of this.
Great. That's brilliant. Thank you so much. And, good luck for the next one, because this has been so much fun. I really got that vibe from you all. And I'm sure, everybody watching, joining us today, and everyone that's going to be watching our video online. Yeah, it'll be great. And thank you very much. So we're going to close out for now. Thank
All
you.
right. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye. Bye.
All right, bye, everybody.
Thank you.